I'm Bianca Cotton, host of Behind the Confident Smile, where we inspire women to walk in love, live in hope, and be healed from past hurts. I am here with LaCresia Walker today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We are about to dive into a very important health topic around PCOS. So,
yes.
Let's start with what is PCOS?
So PCOS in full name is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is the enlargement of your ovaries, and your ovaries are enlarged due to having cysts all over them. Now, sometimes everyone with PCOS does not get the cyst on their ovaries. So sometimes doctors may misdiagnose or miss it in some people, but that's one of like the main systems. Notably now, since they're trying to dive deeper into it and try to learn more about it, because it's still not too much research about it, but it's an endocrine disorder. So what they're recommending for women is to go to endocrinologists to, get further help on it and see what they can do. There is no cure for PCOS. Only thing that you can really do to kind of manage it is try to figure out your specific type of PCOS, because there are so many types. They say it's 4 different types of PCOS, but
oh wow, I
feel like women deal with a cumulative from each group, because they say there's the androgen, the cortisol one where you have, low cortisol levels. Then there's the inflammatory PCOS where you have you get like headaches and you'll get fatigue and joint problems. But like I said, I feel like, I know for me personally, I get a cumulative of something, everything that goes into it. Been dealing with it for a long time.
A long time?
A long time.
So how old were you when let's say you recognized that there were some differences in your body that wasn't there before?
So I don't even know if it was, I think it's just I've always been this way, honestly. I don't think there was ever a difference in my body. It's just something that I lived with without knowing that this was my problem. So when I was in high school, horrible acne. Man, bad acne. Where you think it's just,
it's puberty.
Yeah. It's normal. Yeah. That's what everybody goes through.
Maybe I drank too much pop.
Exactly.
Or ate too much candy.
Exactly. Drinking too much juice, whatever, But I had it really bad. So I would have my doctors prescribe me certain, medication for my face and things. Also, I would deal with bad dark spots on my face, on my neck, really black neck, my arms, under my arms, and from that's also a symptom as well, because when you have PCOS, your insulin levels are higher. So therefore, you are more prone to develop diabetes.
Oh.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And for a lot of Black and brown women, that's a very high risk for us, because unfortunately we are that group that are at higher risk of having diabetes. I low-key think that it could be because a lot of us have been misdiagnosed and aren't diagnosed with this issue. It causes weight gain, unexplainable weight gain. You can be, say, a size 10 one day. Then you wake up like, dang, I'm 20 pounds heavy. Like, what did I do? I haven't changed my eating habits. I haven't done anything. I'm still doing what I normally do. And out of nowhere, you're just puffy. You're just really, really puffy. You get extreme amounts of uncomfortable bloat. I can remember dealing with bloating from a young age. Mind you, like I said, I have asthma. Like we've talked before off camera, I have asthma. Severe asthma. And from having severe asthma, as we talked off camera, I had I've been on so many high dosages of prednisone throughout my life, say from 12 years old all the way from like till my 20s. Just high dosages. Now, do you think that's good for somebody with PCOS? No. Did not know I had PCOS until probably I would say, I think I was about, I had to be diagnosed between 16 and 18. I was going to a doctor and she was letting me know because I always had irregular periods. I came on my period my first time when I was 9 years old. Thank God for my grandmother. Oh, I miss her so much. Such a wonderful woman. When it happened, I knew exactly what it was because she always explained to me everything that was going on with my body and made sure I was well informed. And I remember that second day, she always told me the second day is the heaviest, but when I say at 9, my second day was so heavy, I had to literally put towels in my bed. That's how bad it was. And I'm thinking that's just, a normal thing that people go through when they get the period or whatever. But as I got older and learned that I have PCOS,
it made sense.
Yes. Irregular periods and heavy periods are a big symptom. And a lot of women don't want to talk about it because it's very embarrassing. It's life altering. It weighs on your emotions. It makes you feel disgusting at times because when I can say I've had bouts of high PCOS battles with my period where I bled for months. And when I say months, I'm saying at least 3 or more months. Yes.
And nothing could be like medically done to help
They
that
would
stop?
say, oh, we can give you birth control pills. We can put you on metformin to help regulate, the insulin levels in your body and to help you lose weight. And it should help with that. And then also with the birth control, it should help regulate your periods and your hormones because, of course, you can already imagine women, our hormones are always out of whack because we have periods. But if you have PCOS, your hormones are really like just kind of everywhere. And you have mood swings. Sometimes you just literally don't know what's going on with yourself. Like, why am I feeling like this? It's because of this just kind of unexplainable medical condition that even the medical world just does not know how to pinpoint why women have it. What causes it,
Yeah. Such a mystery.
It's a big mystery.
Such a mystery.
Now they're diving deep into it, trying to figure out maybe it's generational. Is it due to environmental reasons? Now they're trying to say maybe it's because of trauma.
Wow.
There really is because no one knows. And it affects a lot of women, and 70% of women are undiagnosed.
Wow. So when you talk about PCOS for you being life altering, what has that meant for you recently?
PCOS is one of the number one leading causes of infertility for women. It does not mean you cannot get pregnant, but
It makes it a little bit harder.
it makes it way more harder because you're not having a regular menstrual cycle,
True. You can't track.
So how do you know? And for me, the biggest life-altering experience that I had was I became pregnant in 2016, was overjoyed. At that point, didn't even think I could get pregnant because of my condition, But lo and behold, I did. But unfortunately, I miscarried. And that was one of the hardest times of my life. I was not pregnant for a long time, but the 2 months I literally felt that baby growing in me to the point I had to go to the hospital to figure out why am I feeling this way because I had never felt what I was feeling.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, you're pregnant. I'm like, okay. Wow.
Wow.
Then, so I'm super excited, going through all the feels, the fatigue and, you know, not really nauseous, but just going through. But then also, when I got to the point where something just wasn't right, I literally felt that baby leave me. So feeling the baby actually start to develop and then leave was just very, very hard because I had my miscarriage the day after I saw my baby's heartbeat for the first time. And that was a lot. That was a lot to go through. I always say everything happens for a reason, and I do believe in the divine will of God. I really, really do. And it just wasn't that time, but I guess that was just him showing me, like, it's possible. Don't give up hope. It's possible. But when you go through something like that, and for me, and you're already a highly emotional person. That's another thing that PCOS does. So it makes you very, very, like I said, your moods, you know. I feel like I'm already emotional. But it does, in some women, cause like these real bouts of just emotions. That's women, we already are like that.
It enhances.
Yes, like you cry at everything. And you're not pregnant, you're not on your period, you're just crying at everything. So for me, that just... It took me to the point, my now fiance back then, where we were like, you know, he's like, you're going to get pregnant again. I was just like, don't even talk about it. I don't want to think about it because every time I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I literally felt that baby grow.
Right.
And when you have those feelings, and sometimes they, people can have false pregnancy feelings in their body as well. You know, you have those feelings. I tried to like, just like, no. That's not it. I'm not. It's such an emotional. It's a traumatic experience, and when you go through it, you just don't want to keep putting yourself through that possibility if you are or not. So you just kind of say, "It is what it is. It's never happening for me ever again."
Right.
To try to shield yourself from that hurt and that pain, because it's a lot. It's a lot, but lo and behold. The will of God is ever present. He blessed me in 2021 to become pregnant again. And that's my true miracle rainbow baby. And he is in all his glory. He is very much so. I'm here, Ma. I'm here and I was meant to be here. And that's one thing I would want to let women with PCOS know, like, it's not impossible. Yes, it's hard, but it's not impossible. With PCOS, you do have to put in that work of diet change, exercise, and it can be really grueling because you feel like you got to put in 100 times more work than everybody else. Something that could be so easy for the next is not for us. It's just not. You can lose 2 pounds and you may have what they call PCOS flare-up or whatever, and 2 weeks later, you 4 pounds heavy. Like, what in the world is going on?
I'm Ricky Watson, inviting you to join me for the next critical conversation where we focus on enduring the pain of your story in order to live in its triumphs. What to do when doors close in your face and life seems to simply be falling apart. Join the conversation on CAN TV Cable Channel 19 or stream live on cantv.org or on the CAN TV Plus app. Elevated conversation and storytelling. Experience the power of community television.
It sounds like a cycle of discouragement almost, and curious to know from you, like, how have you taken care of your mental health? Or do you, right? Like what does that look like, caring for your emotional and mental health while not only experiencing PCOS, but asthma, right? Mm-hmm. So
all that on top of each other. It's been a lot. I can say that I have gone to therapy. Definitely want to get back in therapy. But I'm just grateful that I do have a very, very, this may not be fair, but I have a strong relationship with God, and I pray. I pray. Mm. Oh, I pray. And that has gotten me through, especially after having my baby. All women don't experience it, but some do. I went through postpartum bad for myself. Mm. Some people may not think it was, but for me it was. I was very much so in denial of my postpartum depression. Mm. Very in denial. Like, no, girl, you ain't going through that. Like, you happy you got a baby. Like, why you feeling like that? Girl, please. No. Mm. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Like, days I'd just be looking at this little boy like, you crying, I'm crying. I don't know how we gonna do this. I don't know.
I ain't looking at you like, I just got here.
Exactly. And your baby feeds off of you, so you trying your best to be in good spirits, but unfortunately, with pregnancy, which they don't tell you, the hormones, and then on top of having PCOS, it just takes you through this like roller coaster of just, who am I? Mm. Where am I going? Am I supposed to be your mom? Like, I'm happy, but am I really meant to do this? Almost like an
identity crisis.
Yeah, there's a big identity crisis. Very, very big identity crisis. So sometimes you just kind of feel like you're spiraling. Mm. And I tell women, whoever I can, like if I have a conversation with them about motherhood at this point, I tell them, give yourself grace and give that baby grace. Please, because it's not easy. With being a new mom, you're not going to get a lot of sleep. But then put on top of that having PCOS. You already have sleep issues with PCOS. That's another thing that affects your sleeping. You get bad insomnia. So if you are a mother that decided to breastfeed or pump,
you get no sleep at all.
You get no sleep.
With the postpartum phase, with the shedding of the blood, like how does that work with PCOS?
When I was in the hospital the day after I gave birth, you know how they go in and they push on your stomach to make sure everything comes down. They were like, let us know if you passed anything bigger than, a quarter size or whatever. And I can say I literally passed something that was literally like the size of a softball.
Mm. Oh, wow.
Like, what was that?
Did the doctors make any comments about it?
So, I was kind of scared. I didn't even tell the doctor. Because I was already there for a week. I wasn't trying to say no. That was bad on my part. I just pray, like, Lord, let me be okay when I get home. Thankfully, because I was just tired at that point. I had literally been in the hospital for a whole week because I had got induced.
Lord.
I was just ready to go. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, I'm ready to go home. So when I got home, thankfully, I didn't pass any more huge clots or anything like that. But I can say prior to getting pregnant, this is something that may happen to women with PCOS. I had a bout of having heavy bleeding, but I was passing huge clots. Huge clots. And I learned from my own research that sometimes women with PCOS, when you do have those bouts where you're passing huge clots, sometimes those are the cysts leaving your body.
Oh.
If you've been doing certain detoxes and trying to get yourself together, and because like I said, medically, they can only give you so much to try to treat it because they really don't know the why and where it comes from. So you have to tap into that natural healing yourself. And at that time, I was doing some natural healing, just trying to get myself together. I just wanted to be healthy. I was tired of feeling the way I was feeling and not having a period and just feeling bloated all the time and just having this excess weight all the time. So I had about where I bled and like it was just heavy clots. And I thought at that time before, I thought I was having another miscarriage. I thought I was pregnant, didn't know, and I was having a miscarriage. Went to the emergency room and he was like, well, it isn't that. And at that time I was like, well, we really can't do anything for you to stop the bleeding. You just gotta let yourself bleed.
And who wants to hear that?
Only thing is you can take ibuprofen and it helps slow it down. Mind you, this was what, 3 years ago?
Ibuprofen.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Oh my.
It can be a lot. And recently, I just went through a bleeding flare where I was literally, it wasn't 4 months, but it was like 2 weeks heavily. And it just would not stop. Like, it wouldn't stop. I was literally changing pads and tampons every 10 to 30 minutes.
Oh, my.
So one point, like I said, it gets real graphic. You feel disgusting. You just feel discouraged. It was literally leaving my body like water.
So let's layer this on top of, I know you're a stay-at-home mom now, but you weren't always. Let's layer this on top of being at work.
Yes.
Right? Do you carry extra clothes with you? Like what's the situation
Because
when you out and about?
And you never know when it's going
happen.
to happen.
Right.
So that bout I was telling you about before I got pregnant, I was at work. I was a nanny. And I was at work. Thankfully, one of my bosses, he worked from home. His wife worked out. She worked out of the household. She was a doctor. And he worked from home. And my stomach just started turning. I went to the bathroom. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I called his wife first. I let her know. Like, hey, this is what's going on. She knows about it. And she called him to let him know, like, she needs to go. It interrupts your life. Like, sometimes you just feel like you can't lead a normal life because you never know when these flare-ups are going to happen. It's like, you try to plan for it, but how can you precisely plan for it when you don't know
what's going to happen?
You can have 4 months where you have no period. You live in life like, hey, I'm okay, you know. Sometimes you feel good, you ain't got to have a period. Because who wants to bleed every month anyway, you know? Who want to do that? But, you know, you need to do that in order to live a normal life.
Yeah, to be regulated.
Exactly. And when you have this pile up of lining in your body that finally just said, oh, we're going to shed, but you don't know when it's going to decide to shed. And you're out and about. And one time I was out with my fiance and I got up. He was like, oh my gosh. He was like, walk slow. He walked behind me, all on the back of my dress. Just out of nowhere.
Oh.
People talk about the irregular periods, but they don't talk about how those heavy irregular periods can really just drain you and take a total on your mental as well. Because it's just like, like I say, you just feel icky. Like you feel like you feel like the woman with the issue of blood. Like if I could just touch the hem of his garment. And like just please help me, because it can be unbearable at times. It can be unbearable. And after you found, like maybe you've, like myself, have tapped into trying to heal yourself with herbal supplements, because some people who experience like the excessive hair growing, that's another thing with women. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't have that symptom. I do experience like hair on my face a little bit, but not like excessive, like, you know, the bearded lady. Yeah. People exposing these women, not knowing, oh, this woman has PCOS. And this is why that she's going through this. people with that symptom of PCOS, spearmint seed can help them. That's another herbal little supplement that can help. Also, just with your regular vaginal health, raspberry tea is something to help regulate. Raspberry dandelion tea, that can help just with your vaginal health. It's just you really have to do your own research into...
And then just try.
Yeah. Because people can line up all these different things. Oh, eat this, do this, do...
But your body is different than the next woman's body. You have
to try things yourself and see what works for you. As of recently, I've been taking different supplements to correct my cortisol levels to try to hopefully help me have a period and regulate things, because I don't want to go through a bout again where I'm bleeding, just bleeding. Because the last time I had that bout where I was just coming from me like water, I found me, thankfully, a great gynecologist. She's so sweet, and she was just explaining to me, like, I was just telling her, like, everything was going on with me, and I cried, because I'm like, I've been going through this for so long, and nobody can help me. She has to make sure I didn't have ovarian cancer, because it can develop into that sometimes too. Yeah, because some women who are bleeding, that's a symptom of that. So I had to have a procedure to make sure, I was clear of that, just to make sure. But thank God I was clear. Everybody does not have the resources to get the healthiest of foods, unfortunately, especially in Black and brown communities, because, like I said, we are some of the main people that deal with it, and we don't have those resources to us to get fresh fruit and good protein like nuts and high protein yogurts and things like that. You just got to try your best to take what you got and make it what you want in order to be healthy and try to live a somewhat normal life with it.
Cresia. As we close out this conversation today, but hopefully the conversation continues, right?
I really hope it can.
About PCOS and it sounds like the associations with it, and not us as women, but also looking out for other women in different spaces, and how do we live in community with each other. I really thank you for sharing a part of your journey of experiencing something that has been embarrassing, like, for you, and has caused so much pain. But definitely, I think that you'll find some healing. I believe that for you. Because you're doing the work. You're doing the research.
I'm trying.
Something is going to work out, right? Something is going to work out. And so, for those who are experiencing PCOS, know that you're not alone. And for those who this is your first time learning about it, do more research so we can all be informed about this health ailment. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
And
until next time, everyone.